Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, hello, how are
Hi.
you?
Boa tarde, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. Okay, so I go take 11 p.m. there, right? Thank you for being here with us. And in Peru, I think 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m.
Yes, Peru is 9:30.
Okay, so good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, everyone. Okay. Thank you very much for being here with us today again. Today we have a really interesting session. I'm really happy to bring this session to you. As I told you yesterday, today we will meet Afonso. Afonso has been working with us for some years already, and it's a pleasure to have him here with us. I hope that you enjoy. I will not take too much. I'm not talk too much today because yesterday I think was enough. So I will give the word to Afonso. Again, if you have any questions, just you can send it on the chat. Um, and that's it. Thank you very much, Afonso.
Okay, that's me. Can
Stage is
everybody hear me?
yours.
Can you hear me okay? Good.
Yes. Yes.
Welcome everyone for being here in all these great time zones. I myself am just looking down because I'm looking for my clicker because this will make it easier. I am in Brussels. It is beautiful, sunny, and very warm, so that's very nice. And it is 3:30 p.m. We will have sessions today working together afterwards. So I have a 20-minute slot with all of you, but we're going to take the next hour and a half to work together and really try to understand what's in a pitch. Now, we will also talk about how short the pitch is that you will be doing at this moment. But nonetheless, it is a pitch, a lot more of how you're going to bring value to the partners of the logos you see below there, and how you're able to plug and play your solution to expanding the reach and the understanding of what you're trying to build. Good. Clicker is in and I can click away. This is a little bit about me. It's a lot of words. Don't try to read it. You can redact it. Still, things have moved on. This is a little bit about me. I spent 16 years in the corporate world working for nice companies with nice logos, and I had a lot of fun. And 16 years later, after that, I founded, well, first I joined a startup as their first employee to bring them to revenue. And then I started founding my own startups, creating my own startups, and more importantly, creating a venture building practice, which could be relevant for the conversation today, which is called Saint Brand, in which I build corporate ventures. So I build startups that plug and play into corporate scenarios, a little bit about how this program works. And I've done 11 of these. One is not alive anymore, but all the others are functioning. Sometimes they get integrated as departments or new products. Others are either spin outs, which are independent companies, or even investable assets. I can talk about that later if you're interested on how that venture building scenario works. But this is why I love this session so much. First of all, because it's always a pleasure working with Fabrica de Salto. Second, because the program is really cool. You don't get a lot of acceleration with such support from, in this case, health and insurance together to really allow us, meaning us, you, me, entrepreneurs who build things, to plug and play into a client subset, a department, to provide a solution for them. And that's why it's so enjoyable for me to see the merger more of acceleration and venture building together. So that's a little bit about me. I'm a father, I'm 45 years old, and I do love pitching. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Pitching is, of course, knowing your business. But there's something way beyond that, which is understanding what do you do on the day? How do you stand? What do you say? At what volume and with what emphasis? And this is equally important. And this is why I have done pitch training courses since 2011 for my own learnings, and then 2013, 2014, 2015. And I continue to do them because I need to pitch my own ventures. but I also need to understand what is the audience hearing from me. And that's taught me a lot about embracing an inner narrator. And that will bring me to the first part about drafting your pitch. Your pitch is extremely short. You will more and more be doing pitches of 2 to 3 minutes. If you are going to pitch for an EU grant, for example, which I have done in the past, it is a maximum of 8 to 10 minutes plus a 35-minute Q&A, which is grueling. But if you're going to pitch in, let's say, an acceleration program, you're looking at 2-3 minutes max. And a lot of people say, is that my elevator pitch? No. We'll talk about the elevator pitch and its pitfalls in a second. But you'll need to make sure that, yes, you are the subject matter expert, but now you're just a narrator answering questions that they have in their mind. And what does that mean? That means you need to remove yourself from the content of the pitch and explain to them what the hell is going on slide by slide. You become the narrator and you plant the questions. For example, you may want to know who I am. My name is Afonso. How do I feel today? Very energetic. And so on and so on. You want to plant the questions. You may be wondering how this is a business model. And then you explain the business model. They won't remember the business model. They'll remember you explained it. We have 3 key benefits, blah, blah, blah. The blah, 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 they won't remember. But you said there were 3 key benefits. So becoming the narrator of your pitch is an exercise we'll do later on our one-to-ones. And it's something that I want you to embrace in these short pitches, where you only get the opportunity to do 3 things. First of all, you need to set the expectation of what you want out of this pitch. This is extremely important in such a short time frame. The first thing is, it's a little bit like when you go to a wedding or you watch TV, an American show, and it'll say, we're gathered here today. So I'm here because I've seen that there is an opportunity to. You're not there to present your whole business. You won't have time for that, but I'm here because I've seen there's an opportunity to. And that's the first thing. You want to set the expectation from the get-go. And you want to prove to them, and I have a business that is ripe or at the right time for you to embrace. Then there's only one message they can leave the room and remember, which is, Jesus, I had no idea that ... Now, the ... may not be your solution, may be the problem that you brought and surfaced to them. That is equally fine, because we're not discussing whether you're an opportunity or a need. We are basically trying to make them understand that I had no idea that we are losing millions, or we are doing this wrong, or that patients have nowhere to go. And this individual came here today and showed us that XYZ. So first thing, why are you here? Second thing, I want you to leave this pitch knowing at least one thing. In the market today, there is no one addressing XYZ. That's how you want to bring the emphasis to that key message. And if you get questions, the same questions again and again when you pitch to colleagues or investors or others, bring them into the pitch. And you can bring them in. And I know what you're thinking. The business model is not the right one. And we know that, and we're working on it. Or I know what you're thinking. This team needs marketing. So you can bring those in. The questions you're getting today are ammo, and bring them in. So these are the 3 things you need to start listing down. They're very simple, and they will be the crux of building a pitch, which is rather short. It'll be, hi, I am Afonso, and I think I have a very different point of view on how we can make a difference in healthcare, not in 120 days, but 90 days for patients with blah, blah, blah. I'm just making things up as we go along, just so you know. But and we've identified an opportunity to impact XXXX people. Let me walk you through this until you get to, let's talk business. So basically, you'll have, let's say, 1 minute to explain your proposition in all its glory, what we call the narrative side of things, to explain the problem and the solution. And then you will have 1 minute to talk facts and figures. And that's kind of the split of any pitch. And I'm sure you've pitched all before, and you know that that's the case. You're going to frame them. There's a problem, and there's a better way, and there's a solution, and we have something magical. Stop. Let's talk business. The good thing about structuring any pitch like that is if you start getting questions on the latter end of facts and figures, good news. It means your message was unequivocally clear in the first part. It doesn't mean your idea is bad if they question you on your idea. That's not it. It just means they didn't understand it. So you need to go back and understand that, oh, wow, they didn't get it. I need to try better. But if you're discussing the facts and figures of how many people, how we can implement, how long it'll take to develop, how you can see results, those are the discussions you want to have in this program. So try to get them there really clearly with the narrative side, which is the fun side, and then have those facts and figures ready, even with your unknowns. I want to stop here because I speak very fast and I'm quite high energy. I know that, but we have a short amount of time. So I want to stop here and see if there's any questions at all. I haven't given you much to work with so far. So, okay. Any criticism on my language or speed of discourse, please let me know and I can calibrate. But there are the pitch structures. We're going to talk about this today. And I need to be candid. Well, I need to help you understand that I need to deliver this to you, even though a lot of you already know this. So what I want you to take is the power of what you can do with each slide. I'll break this down. This is a guide to help you with what is a pitch structure. Now, a pitch structure, as you know, and you can go from Y Combinator to PwC Ventures, they all want pretty much the same thing. They all want you to hit these 12 chapters. And you've seen them before and you know. The elevator pitch, the problem, the clients, who's this for? What do you have a solution? What's the size of the market? How do you make money? Who's the competition? Blah, 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 blah. You know all of this. The funny thing is, it doesn't have to be in this order, right? You can just, it's not this slide. You can just change the structure around. And it's up to you because it's your narrative. I'll explain the asterisks on elevator pitch and now, actually. The elevator pitch is something that is not needed for the pitch. And I've put it there with an asterisk because it's where the cover is. It's where you come in and you deliver something that will capture their attention. You do not come in and say, I am so-and-so, and for patients who have this condition, we have a solution that will bring that benefit because that is an elevator pitch. No, I am so-and-so, and I have a very different opinion on how we are able to cure patients that have so-and-so. I've seen the results, and I've seen the speed, and I'm here to present those to you today. Flip your elevator pitch, use it as a mystery to engage them about the why we're gathered here today type premise. So that's why it's there. But we'll break this down when we go in slide by slide. Now, on the B2B side of things, it's a different story. Now, on the B2B side of things, you are licensed, if you wish, to have a vision and a mission. We are here because we're on this North Star. But every day we wake up and we make sure that our mission is something we accomplish. And then you go into the problem, and then you go into the what's needed to win in this market, into the solution, into the value exchange, etc., etc. I will come back to this in a little bit. It's a long chapter, but pieces will come together. Don't worry. So with the B2C one, you can move it around. You can change things in order. And for investor pitches, of course, you need to have the financial plans and everything coming into there. But the important part is for protecting pitch day, you need to have a use case, right? So if you're going to talk to them about your solution, you want to immediately jump to what's the use case for protecting. How can they embrace this? How is the target customer in the room there a viable partner for you to expand, grow, impact, whatever you need to say to land your solution there? And then competition may be something you want to remove, unless you know that they are already partnering with similar solutions. And traction, you may also not want to use it for protecting, but we will come into those. I'm going to break them down because right now we're going to go slide by slide. The cover page, intro, as I said, do not come in with what is called your elevator pitch, which is here, which is our product for this customer segment solves problem XYZ and is better than 1, 2, 3 because it has these amazing distinguishable attributes. Now, you want to make sure that you capture their attention. Now, you can do this in millions of ways. You don't need to ever read what's on a slide, but you can always come in and leave something slightly cryptic, slightly curious. Like the one that says, mapping the world with robots. It's like, hi, I'm Afonso from Skycatch, and I think we've crossed the chasm on how we are able to use technology to give you the grid of what you don't know. See, I'm just saying the same words which are on the slide, but I'm just saying something that'll keep people engaged and perk their ears up. And let me tell you something you don't know today is the approach you want to take. Now, the elevator pitch, always good to have in your back pocket, and it could be of any source that you have in the same. You can use it later. You can use it when you present your FAQs, but it's not something you readily use in your pitch. But some people like to use it as their value proposition. Contactually is a relationship marketing platform that helps professionals keep and generate business from their existing network. It's always a little bit dry. Or this one, which is covered there, it's a Revive, a platform for SMEs to define projects and hire teams of freelancers. The elevator pitch is a little bit dry. It's something that is good to have. It's good for internal purposes, for teams, etc. But it's not something that you would use in a pitch because you want to extremely quickly bring them to, but this is the problem that you don't know about. This is what we're not looking at, or this is not where we're doing a good enough job. See, all these little nuggets that I'm saying to you are narrator nuggets. I'm not saying anything which is on the slide. I'm not saying any content. I'm making sure that people are understanding that I'm guiding them to what's wrong and why is it wrong. And so this is where you can then tell the story of the problem. But again, it's very, very quick. If you look at the top left, that's how simple it was for Airbnb to launch their company, just by framing the problem in a very dry and pretty ugly slide there. Now, even the bottom one, which is for a very big brewer, one of the largest brewer in the world, it's just an Economist headline with a piece of news. I know because I did that one. And I didn't really need it. It was just to frame what I wanted to talk about today. So it's like, the problem is not external. The problem is internal, intra-industry. And what we're not doing a good enough job. So you're just using whatever you need as a background to make sure that they understand what you're addressing as the problem. And then, but who does it affect? Who does it touch? What are the people who need it the most? And now be careful if you need to explain it in terms of the direct beneficiaries and the end beneficiaries. A little bit of a B2B2C model. That happens a lot. We have something that can impact wave one, let's say the physician or doctor, and then the patients. And this is where you can make it extremely simple for people to understand. A lot of people like putting stories like the bottom left one, like meet Jim, etc. I think in 2 minutes, this might be very risky for you to be going down that avenue. But if you're able to talk in terms of the numbers or the populations in which you have a solution for, that might be better. The bottom right is once you know their business. And if you know that they have certain personas, the silver surfers and the, I don't know, foxy cats. And if you know their lingo, then you can use it. If not, don't use it. So for example, the one on the bottom right is for HSBC. And we knew the type of people that they were targeting. So this wasn't cryptic at all. And then the solution. Now the solution, you can frame it as in we have a solution, or we can have what the market needs as a solution and where it's lacking. It needs proprietary IP. It needs a team that understands. It needs, so whatever you're able to do to make sure that you deliver your value proposition, make use it in the solution slide. Again, this was Airbnb on the top left. So it's such a simple slide deck if you find that online of how they presented what they wanted to do. But you can do it for so many other ways. So the bottom one is actually a B2B to C platform. And both slide left and slide right go together. So this is Dokkel, which is a Belgian company. So stay on top of your household administration in one place. Any easier would be difficult. That's the value proposition for the customer. And then for the business, we have a value proposition, which is the documents that of how many companies we actually work with, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But this is delivering what you have that nobody else has, but who does it affect? So you quickly want to transition in terms of your narrator scope and saying, but you might be wondering what's the market size today. And we all know that the market size usually come in these like circles or Venn diagrams just to show how many people, how many customers, how many insurance customers, how many people who have certain types of accidents, how many fires are out there in households or patients who require help. This is the kind of thing that they need to understand. And there's usually an immediate circle, a control group circle in case of venture building, which you're doing here, and then bigger waves that you can expand from. But you may be wondering how we make money. Again, the narrator in me bringing you into how are we making money? Now, this can be very simple, but it could be very important in the case of venture building. They like to know and understand how would you plug and what kind of money inflows and outflows would be there. More than a financial projection, which we do in investor slides, this could be a very easy slide for you to include. The way we need is we need to cover the cost of da-da-da, and then we're able to have a revenue share of whatever. So just explaining. If you have questions, I have these little diagrams here of how I sometimes look at revenue streams and how we make money. And I do this exercise sometimes with my colleagues to understand, are there other ways in which we can make money? Because that is also pretty important when you have a startup. And just a point there that we always get the same question, which is between flat rate and where is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and pay per use. So the top middle one and the bottom left. The top middle one is like advertisement. You pay for the leads you get. The bottom left is you sell a pair of jeans, you get paid. But that's the only difference. Everything else is just ways of, you could always also saying, we understand how we have a revenue stream model that could work today, but we want to explore others such as strategic partnerships, co-investments, et cetera, et cetera. So it allows you also to explore how else you can make money, to then move into the competitors. Now, the competitor slide, I have to be honest with you, I don't like putting them in my pitch decks because I don't like showing other logos of my companies, which are not mine. I don't like to pretend that I'm an expert. And I don't like creating these self-prophecy charts where I'm putting the values that work for me, but not necessarily for them. So on the chart on the left, when you create these charts, please remember you're comparing features of competitor sets, the features that they have. This is the way, for example, if you go to a cybersecurity company, let's say McAfee, it'll compare itself to Nord, whatever. They compare features. We do this, they do that, we do this, they do that. Fine. You want to maybe make it simpler, especially in a two-minute pitch, which is I want to compare value spaces. And it could be reward and impact. It could be mass market and price. Very simple concepts that you can plug where you see yourself land. So make sure that the competitor slide works for you and competitors and not just for you. And then traction. Traction is extremely important in venture building. This is something also, of course, for investors. But as you know, investors, depending on where you are, they might want you to already have customers. And this is where you want to show these are the tests we've done. This is the number of times we left the lab or the number of reports that we've created for, let's say, an insurance product. You really want to show this is how much we know and the certainty that we have that customers will adopt this. And there's so many ways of showing this. You can show this through logos on the top right there, startup I work with, or again, Dokkel there, which is today, Dokkel is processing 85 million documents, just in a sentence, or you can show it in a chart if that's what you want to do. You can show it in a number of interviews. And I've done that in venture building and it works. And then this shouldn't say solution, should be team. Sorry, typo there. And team is that odd slide where in your 2 minutes, you may want to be very clear that you have no time to show it because it is something that takes far too long. Please be careful with names. This is quite an international audience. Some people don't know if it's Jose or Jose. As you see there, it's just too. João in Portugal is like a cryptic name in other countries as João, but it's John. So it's very difficult. So, and be careful with this guy's got an MBA, this person has a PhD, this person didn't go to school. So be careful with all of that, and just explain the skills the team has. Today, this team already has skills in business, in marketing, and in medical, whatever. But we do lack, and that's the important part, other fields that can just enhance our growth as a business. The team is great. It's not perfect. The team is really for, let's say, an investor VC side of things to go in depth, not at this point. And then the ask. So this is the opportunity. What we need to make this opportunity a reality is ABC. Now, you can do it in the pie chart way of money, how you're going to apply funds. Now, be careful never to say overhead or salaries. People know that. We also know that, for example, 35% of sales on the left there, that's for salaries. It's not for anything else, but we don't say salaries. We just say the activity. Or you can do it as a stage gate on the right. We need initial capital, then we need to open to equity, then ownership, etc., etc. That's for another company called Vitra in Switzerland. But don't be afraid that this is the only forum you can ask for money, authorization to work together, by making them understand how easy it could be. The financial plan, again, I'm showing you a core structure that you all know for investors, is not going to be what you need for this pitch. Gratefully, it's very short, 2 minute. You can show what you've done in case you've had some annual or monthly recurring revenues, or how your path to break even is. But this is not really the slide that's going to break the camel's back. Meaning, if it's something that the cost structure for them to implement, fantastic. This is not an investor pitch for Protechting, but in the future, yes, you need to know. And these slides, they always take pretty much the same form of a beautiful chart where everybody makes money and happy days. You just need to move them to the right assumption, which is, if I can bring you to the line in the middle there, if we are able to onboard XXX customers at a customer acquisition cost of 100, then yes, that is the date we're able to break even, and whatever. So financial plans, we all know they are just Excel theater, but they have to be in there. And then the roadmap. The roadmap, again, be careful, especially if you're from a high context nature. High context means where communication has to have a context to take place. Do not go too far in the past. There's no time for that. So you really want to be bang on. We've been around for 4 years now, but if I can take you to that big yellow dot in the middle there, that's where we are today. We have X recurring revenues, Y customers. With the developments that we require in the investment, we can move forward to blah, 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 blah. Very quick roadmap slides. Again, this is for scrutiny under investments. This is not really for this type of pitch in terms of speed, but it's good for them to know in case you have a business and a tech roadmap. And these are key milestones. Very quick slide. So this is the structure of those 12 for a B2C pitch, as you know. On a B2B, there is a slide that I've added here, which is a slide that I always use, which is the value exchange slide. Now, I put this here because I believe this slide could be valuable to you under the program. And it usually is for me in terms of venture building, and definitely when there's a B2B or B2B2C scenario. Why? Because in these scenarios, there is never just one customer. It's usually a double-sided business. And so I have 2 beneficiaries at least. So the value exchange slide that I usually put in is very simple, a Venn diagram, where I land my logo in the middle, and then I explain what I offer the 3 parties involved. This is the value. And if you have government, normally I put a bigger circle around it because it looks great. So if you have to explain to them, and this is how we can impact your business, your customers. So your business, your customers, the industry. The value exchange slide is a nice wrapper to end on impact on your pitches. And so with that, I also have a little exercise which you're not going to do now that you can take away. It's one of your drives that Margarita knows where it is. There are these little exercises that I normally go through with my team. Okay, do we include it? Yes, no. Is it in voice or in visual? And I'm talking about something else. Do we need to think about it? And I usually go through this and say, okay, do we have a slide on team? Do we have a slide on that? Why I do this is we try to keep a master library of all the slides somewhere where, depending where we go, we just pick and choose and make a little decision matrix based on this template. Okay, take this, take that. Do you know what you're saying here? No, it's just a voiceover. I don't want to show competitors. Make conscious choices on pitching and make sure that anyone in your team can go out and pitch. So that's a little bit about the first part. Just to recap, so we're on time, there is a flow. There are 3 things you need to get right. Why you're here and what you have for them, what they had no idea about, and what you already know you need to work on, the questions you're always getting. You need to know these 3 things to build your structure. The structure is around 2 minutes in this case for your pitch on the 10th, I believe it's the 10th. It's very short, so you're going to have to omit parts. This is where this exercise can be handy. The value exchange slide might be very good for impact. And remember that you might want to have a conclusion. And by conclusion, on the end of that curly timeline I put together, you might want to say, I hoped in the last 2 minutes I've been able to come here today and do 1 and 2, which is, and show you that we've identified an opportunity to impact your blah, 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 because you had no idea about, because we have this, that to address. So if you take the 2 things that you've already said in your pitch and you bring it to the conclusion, instead of saying, and that was my 2 minutes, thanks. No. Or, and thank you for listening. Bye. Or, I'm out of breath. No. Take a deep breath when they say, when everybody says time, you say, I hope in the last 2 minutes I've been able to come here today and show you the opportunity we identified can really bring an impact to XXX number of customers who today have nothing better than blah, 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 blah. Margarita will kill you. It's another 10 seconds, but it works and you don't fall flat at the end of your pitch. So that was it for this very short time, and we are on the clock. Any questions so far?
Julian, Julie left a question here in the chat asking, saying that 12 slides in 2 minutes is too much, but just this was an exercise, right? That was not just for this 2 minute speech. You just explained.
So, yes, Julie. So this is just the 12 chapters of any pitch in the world. Yours will be shorter, but there is something called pechakucha. I don't know if people know what pechakucha is. Japanese way of practicing slides. You can put hundreds of slides. Every 20 seconds, somebody else clicks and moves forward, and you need to keep going, and you need to catch up. This is a very good exercise for you to understand narrative and what's happening in the background. We fear slides because we spend too many hours of our days in PowerPoint and boardrooms and meetings, and we click, 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 and explain. In the pitch, the slides are just the background. It's all about you. You're the exposure. And so you might have the practice, I do, to have too many slides, but it's okay because I just keep going and I'm talking to you. It's just a background to me. And that means that I'm trying to release myself from the click and go back, etc. Of course, you won't have 100 slides in 2 minutes, but you need to just start being comfortable with having, let's say in 20 seconds, you could have 6 to 8 slides in 2 minutes. Yes, Paulo.
Yeah, just one question. So regarding March 10, so should we fit any content related with the pilot or just be more generic?
No pilot.
No
Don't have time
pilot, no
for
pilot.
that. Yeah.
Okay,
No
okay.
pilot. This
Thank
time
you.
you're presenting
No pilot.
yourself. No
Just
pilot yet.
ourselves. Okay, so the pilot will come afterwards. Okay,
Exactly.
I see.
The closer you can get to a place where they can build that bridge and understand the fit, fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Because you mentioned the value exchange. Were you suggesting to finish with the value exchange so that we can spark that conversation, or not? Just
Yes. Am I allowed to say yes? Yes, I'll say yes, of course. I've finished before with the value exchange. And this is how we see the full impact of why we're here today. This is how we believe we can impact this, that, and the other for a greater good or for more results or whatever you want to say.
yeah. So just complement this. So because in this context, the idea is to partner with Hospital da Luz, with Fidelidade, with this kind of partners, with in a sense are more B2B, right? Am I
Yes.
seeing things correctly? So value exchange is really important in these collaborations, right?
Yeah. So let's say you're one of many of you want to partner. I'm going to pick on one of you said Hospital da Luz, right?
Mhm.
You would show them part of the value exchange are the doctors, the patients, and the hospital. And there's a win-win-win. This is how we see the fit of what we have to develop throughout the program. You can put it that way. So it's more humble and candid that you're going to develop your pilot
So, but
proposition.
so in a sense, we should include this hook in this initial pitch, right? In a sense,
If you
just
feel mature enough,
just yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
good. Okay. So pitching is really important that you know your narrative. More and more, I get people who write their narratives with ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. I use Gemini a lot. I don't write with little icons and little hands and things like that always comes out of AI. But humans don't use those words when they talk, and we know. So please be very careful. And more importantly, with or without AI, do not become the hostage of a script. Becoming a hostage of a script is going to cage you into getting extreme frustration from delivering your pitch. You want to get to a point where you are delivering the pitch because you're the expert on what's in the background. And that is not up for question. That if you are an entrepreneur, an engineer, whatever you are already an expert. What you need to be an expert is getting them extremely clear and excited about what you bring. Let's start with content. Please do not jump to the solution. If this man would come up to you and say, I have a purple stick to vacuum your house, and it's much better, you would not really understand what's wrong with my vacuum cleaner. What's wrong with, I used to have Henry the Hoover, which is a British one. Anyway, the point is be careful. Do not jump to the solution. Make them understand that there's a better way, that there's something not happening, that no one is addressing, and why so. And then say, and we know how that problem can be overcome. And that is exactly what we're developing. So hold your horses, because a lot of people like to jump into the solution and then it just falls flat because you haven't built up that tempo. That is the most important thing. The second thing is the team slide. The team slide is in India. In fact, I don't know if you have any Indian teams on the program, actually, not that I've read, but in India, many, many times, in most pitch cases, you start with the team and it's a relief. It's out of the way because there's really no comfortable place to put the team. You can at times say, and this wouldn't be possible without the skills that we have today, and then you show the team. So it's kind of a camouflaged way to show the team. But the team slide is one that people just don't really know where to place. Do not, and this has 3 minutes, it's 2 minutes, do not show how anything works. And this is exactly the magic that we bring to you today. If I can bring your eyes to the blue pool there, those are the nodes that we will bring to your business. I'm not going to explain how it works. No way. No way. So be very quick about it. Do not spend any time on anything which is not business critical. And we have a partnership with Microsoft Azure, part of the startup program. So what? Do not, it doesn't matter. But a lot of people like spending time talking about these things. And we have a channel strategy to do marketing on LinkedIn and Meta. Is like, yes, so does everyone else. Let's talk about what you've done or what you can do. It's important to mention competitors. You're not number one. Now, I made this mistake many years ago. I used to work for LinkedIn, and the first time I met CEO, I asked him about competitors, and and I hinted that it's very nice to work for a company without competitors. He said, we always need to watch out for competitors, even if it's Google and this and that. So broaden your scope of what is a competitor. You can have technological competitors. You can have specific business competitors. Just broaden your scope. There are competitors out there. But what we don't see happening is, that's you. POD, point of difference, potato, potato. Again, this should be just after the solution slide, because sometimes we forget on how we are different. How we are different. It is actually interesting. A lot of companies fail to say that how we are different than everybody else. And it could be as simple, and I've seen investment come to a family group, and we're different because we're a family business. And that was enough for this company in a different field, in bio, blue bio, to get investment just because they were a family business. But they weren't mentioning that before. There is a point of difference to what you do, and ask for something with urgency. And we believe the time is now. So in the last 2 minutes, I hope that I've been able to come here today and let you know that pitching is actually extremely exciting, tiring, but if you get it right, you'll be able to get people to invest in what you want them to do. And so urgency does matter. So don't jump to the solution, build it up. The team, I'll leave it up to you if you need to fit it in here today. You could leave it as the last slide today, and it wouldn't be possible to be here today without my great team bringing you blah, 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 blah. Do not show how it works, etc. Everything else you can read. And then there's don'ts on design. You probably know this, but it is interesting that 1 out of 10 decks are still relying on a few outdated codes. If you're not good at design, just go black and white and have some really good imagery. Too much text, exact summaries, too much text, less words. That's the point of this slide. Try to go for big words, big messages. This is not a boardroom style of pitch where you're able to scrutinize and discuss. Make most of the room that you have. Don't use small fonts, big fonts, clear fonts. Don't hurt their eyes. Or if you have anything medical, I'm just going to take this because this slide is uncomfortable. If you have something medical, I've seen this before. It was for a startup that was helping people who had accidents in their eyeballs. They kept on showing really graphic images, and nobody wanted to look at their presentation after a while. So be careful. If you're sharing things which are, with a lot of blood, etc., don't leave it up for too long. Don't overdo it. Punctuation does matter. It's important that you read, even if you're developing things on dictation softwares. Make sure you go back and read them. Even Canva makes mistakes, and they have really ugly templates. So if you're going to rely on a template, please just go black and white. And these charts are things people do not understand unless you have a point. And if we look at the customer journey today, there is no way they will get the information they want, because it is all on, let me bring your eyes in those 5 green boxes there. That is the only use case for this slide. Otherwise, it is trash. Don't use things people can't understand. And if your team or other images are just out of focus, please get better ones. This does happen because we do share a lot of images on WhatsApp, but the resolution is so low that sometimes it doesn't work. So just a few don'ts on design. To then move us into the most important part, which is the part about body language. Just a quick yes, no, because we have time. Has anyone here done body language courses on pitching in the audience? Is there anyone in the chat, Margarita? I can't see the chat.
We received 2 reactions. So I think Julian and Roxana.
Oh, cool. Great. Thank you both. Oh, this is good. I will rely on you. So let me know if I'm doing anything wrong. So body language is something when you're extremely exposed. Now, when you're pitching and when you're going to do a physical pitch, is it 10 digital or physical, Margarita?
Excuse me?
Is the pitch on it's digital or physical, the 10th?
Physical.
Physical, great. First thing, take everything out of your pockets. You're extremely exposed that day. These individuals looking at you, they can read, they can write, they went to school. It is also not your responsibility to know everything about them, but you are extremely exposed. They will get bored and they will look at you up and down and understand what is that in your pocket. They will look at your clothes. They will try to understand you. And so take everything out of your pockets. Make sure you're not wearing anything weird. And if there's a camera, avoid stripes, but that's a different story. I love pitching and I've been doing it for many years in different ages, as you can see. And one thing I've learned, which is anecdotally speaking, but it's true, avoid linen. That's something I've only learned after having to go pitch in very sweaty places like Albania, where in May it's already 36 degrees. And in a pitch day, what I've learned is you're told, sit here, stand there, move there, go put your microphone on, go over there, sit, and you're moving all the time with people telling you what to do. You don't get a lot of time to think. And your clothes that looked lovely when you left your home, your hotel, does not look that great. So linen, funny enough, doesn't work very well. But what I really mean about these things is tracking your pitfalls and tracking where you do weird things. I have never held a financial role in a startup, although I do build business models. But if I get questions on business modeling and cash flow, I will not give them the best answer. And I know this, and I will squeeze my hands uncontrollably. And that just tells them this is not the right guy. And I don't feel comfortable about it, and I don't like it. So I filmed myself time and time again to understand what I need to control. But we're going to cover a few things here in this short part, which is voice. Voice is something that I call power. Now, power is not arrogance. Power is not shouting. Power is not shoving people and not answering their questions, as you all know. Voice is something that is warm, that is prepared. 2 minutes before I pitch, regardless of the scenario, I will be probably put in the corner of a room filled with other people. I will warm up my voice and I will do it quietly so people don't hear me. But in a pitch day, before you pitch, your mouth is shut. You're in your brain, you're in your thoughts, you're being told, stand here, microphone there, go there, you're next. So what I do is I have a tongue twister that works for me. You can have one in your native language, whatever language it is. Every language has one. And I only say the blue part because I'm not good enough to do the black part. I only say manager, and I do it 3 to 5 times to make sure that my voice is warm. I'm warming up my voice because I want more saliva. More saliva is a good thing. More saliva means that my mouth is moisturized. A moisturized voice is a warm voice. It's a voice that I can do further things with. And that's something you can do. We're not going to hear it now, which is going back to that pitch scenario. Mouth is closed. Jaw is clenched. Do we have any singers here? Do people sing? Anyone is a singer? No thumbs up on singing?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, okay. Okay. So my wife is a professional opera singer, so she does it totally different than I do. I do not, right? These 2 muscles you have here, they are not your friend. They're not your friend when you go to the dentist either. When you go to the dentist, the first 5 minutes, you're making extreme effort. You have a mouth open, like, and they're like, you don't need to do that. This is enough. After 5 minutes at the dentist, you're fine because these 2 muscles have stretched. And so I take 4 fingers. Yes, my hands are clean. I shove them in my mouth and I hold it until my jaw becomes soft. So I just hold it for like 20 seconds like this. I'm not going to make you watch me do this for 20 seconds. Now, what I want to happen is to have softer muscles for 2 reasons. Bigger jaw, bigger mouth, more voice. I'm not a singer. My voice does not come from within. It comes projected from the bottom of my throat because I have 2 languages and one of the native languages comes from the bottom here. But if you're French or if you're English, it comes from different parts of your mouth. Voice is projected from different parts. But if you're not a singer, it is from the nasal and mouth cavity. So this will help you have a bigger mouth. First, that means more voice. Second, that means that the end of your sentences will not go right. Because a lot of people like to say, and that's how we did it then. And they close their mouth at the end of the sentence, like, I don't understand what you're saying. I can't get it. And thank you. It's like, no, thank you. A big mouth, a very strong, poised, big mouth. And that's why I stretch the muscles. And I also do some warming up of the tongue. And what I'm trying to do is get dictation. I'm sure some of you have watched Friends, and Gary Oldman does a contra scene against contra Joey, and he spits on him and says, I'm an actor. That's because he pronunciates the T's. Otherwise, if you're not a native English speaker, you'll say identify and not identify. We want to use language to its fullest. You want to understand the words people say, and dictation goes a long way. Now, warming up the tip of the tongue is simple for some native speakers of, for example, Spanish, because you use the tongue a lot already, but not for others. It doesn't mean you don't do it. So the fourth exercise you want is nasal captivity. So you want to get some area. Okay, let's go back. 2 minutes before you pitch, you're in a corner and you're acting like a crazy person. You're saying, imagine. You're not going, but you're just going, stretching. Just stretching exercises. You can do the warming up at home. Opera singers, they do it 2 hours before they go to opera house. You just want to stretch. And so 2 minutes before you pitch, you want to take 30 seconds to do this. Now, you might think I'm kidding, but I carry around these two cards all about, you can't see it because of the out of focus thing, since 2011. Okay? And it's before I pitch, I have this card in my hand. It just says, honestly, it says, you can't see it. It's just a reminder. I don't want to think about the pitch. I am the expert. I've been chosen to be on stage. And now I just want to have a warm voice. And so make sure your voice is warm. Helps as well. So you get ready. You're doing it quietly in your corner. You make a lot of faces. But that's okay. Everyone's a little crazy. And now body language.
I will be there with all of you, and I swear I will not judge you. Okay? You can do all of this.
You can do
no
all
one
of it.
will judge you.
Look, it's 2 minutes before you pitch. So you need to have a warm voice. You can't be thinking about the pitch. You can't be just, you got to be ready. You got to be extremely excited about it. But there is a side of body language. Now, this is not a political exercise. And it has worked in the past for some people to corral people around their cause, as this gentleman had to do. There was us, Britain, and them. They didn't exist, us and them, but he created it with his arms. And slowly it became a thing. And we studied him extensively because it worked very well. I don't really advocate this, nor digitally, nor in a pitch scenario for your company, that there's us and there's them. It's not that type of politics. But there is this other political gentleman who we study extensively who does it very well. He does it so well that whenever he's talking about something that he believes, it comes from the heart. And something that he's going to pursue comes from the gut. And something he's going to deliver comes from the brain. He does it so well that it's almost impossible to imitate, even though we practice it so much. But there's one message for you here. He does it from a crystal ball stance. And this is probably what you've also learned in body language skills. You have a little crystal ball. Your startup, your venture is a crystal ball. You don't throw it. You don't drop it. It's there. It sits with you. It's something you brought from the heart and the guts to deliver to them. It's not a giant ball. It's not a mini ball. It's just a ball about the width of your arms and your torso width. And you're just holding it there. Now you might say, but I have a clicker. Yeah, you have a clicker. It's fine. I have a clicker too. I have a clicker and I'm explaining it to you. And when I'm not explaining it, my arms are here. And I'm telling you about what we have been able to deliver and develop together. The crystal ball is what journalists use. It's what you should embrace. It is how you will explain the richness of what you've developed. And that's something that I wanted to leave with you without going beyond your personal space, knowing that movements are circular, not traffic control, circular, smooth, confident with a big voice. They are there to be delivered by you. Yes, you can have a pen or a clicker, it doesn't matter. And then there's the moving aspect. Oh, did this move? No, it doesn't move. There's a video of someone moving a lot. Now, some of you might be moving a lot. So we know now that my stance is crystal ball stance, right? Now, it's really important that you know that it's not just about the stance of the crystal ball stance. It's also, what do I do when I'm in Q&A? What do I do with my arms? Your arms stay at 90 to 100 degrees. They stay there. I don't know if anyone is a rugby fan, but it's like before you kick, right? Normally, the hands are there or a little bit lower, right? And this is how you stand. If you're presenting with two or others, you stand there like this. You're like, but I don't normally stand like that when I speak to people. It doesn't matter. It has to be comfortable for me, the audience. It doesn't have to be comfortable for you. It has to be something controlled. Now, if you're a mover, that means that you have to either practice not moving or deliberate moving. Not moving is the first step, and that is extremely easy to conquer. You need to bring a post-it with you on the day you pitch, or you ask Margarita to plant one with your initial on it, on the floor. Your job is when you come to pitch, you step on it, and that won't let you move anymore. That's it. Your job is to step on that post-it. That will force you to stay put. So if you're a mover, you stay put because you're stepping on a post-it and you plant it there. If you want to practice deliberate moving, well, then you go to your narrative of your pitch and you use the narrator to help you walk through the pitch. Now, you may be wondering who our audience is, and you move there. Blah, 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 blah. And that's why we have the world's first, blah, 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 blah. Pause. So far, we found, so deliberate moving, but that takes a little bit of practice, and that takes you knowing the space of where you're going to pitch. So I would advocate, if you're a mover, that means that you are either not in control of your hips and your legs, and you need to put a post-it there, or you're just trying to compensate the hips. In either scenario, put a post-it on the floor, that'll stop. At the same time, this gentleman who was a big mover in his pitches or presentations more so, he did have the magic of pausing. And you have at least 2 pauses in your pitch, one after you introduce and one before you close, which is, hi, I'm Afonso, and I'm here today because I believe that anyone can be the best pitcher in the room. I'm going to walk you through this. Pause. And then blah, 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 blah. And then at the end, pause. And this is the team. Wouldn't be possible without them. I hope that in the last 2 minutes, I've been able, just a little bit of a pause between those two. Like, use them to your benefit. Pause. Let it sink in. Let them know you're still coming with something else, a clear message. Ums. We might have a lot of people who do ums here. We probably have a lot of Portuguese in the call. There is a side of an which is the hiatus in which we liaise the sentences. There is the ums. The French use a lot of ums. You just don't hear it. And if your colleagues do ums, they don't hear it anymore. They don't. You can film them and they'll be surprised on the number of ums. There are various trainings you can do for this, but the simplest one is, if you are someone who pitches and has a lot of ums between your sentences, you need to get a colleague of yours on the other side just lifting their hand every time you say And consciousness will arise and they will slowly mitigate the ums. It is a slow process, but it's one that works. But there's also the so. If you're not a native English speaker, you won't use perhaps the ums, because that's a hiatus that you've adopted, but you will have the so every time you click on a slide. So, we've done 10 tests with customers, click. So, our business model, click. So, and it's just something foreigners do. You want to start introducing, you can do the same with the hand, but you want to start introducing your slide before you click on the slide. Part of this narrator strategy of audience, questions in the audience's mind, but also part of you preempting what's going to happen and not saying so. And you may be wondering how this is a business model. Click. I only click after I present it. So there's no so story going on here. That was the part of body language. There's one part missing there, which is extremely important, which is on the arms, the 90 degrees, 110 degrees, you want to keep them there because if you don't, you will try to put your hands around your pockets, but not in your pockets. It's really weird. Everybody does this. They like, I'm going to put my hands in a nice place. Oh, I can't put them in my pockets. And then you're just standing there. Like, it's really strange how people of all genders do this. So just keep your arms cool and collected, just very Johnny Wilkinson style, in the right place. And then we want to move to energy. So let's go back to the 2 minutes I mentioned before. The 2 minutes before, you want to warm up your voice. You can also do it at home before you go there. Also important to do it before you pitch. Your mouth is shut. You want a big mouth. You want to make sure that you have a lot of voice that day and a warm voice. Perfect. Hydration is important, of course, but then there is the minute before you pitch. And that's where things become real. And that's where you know you're exposed. You're going to be extremely exposed in front of your peers, in front of potential investors, exposed to whether you know or not know your pitch. Now, two things might happen. Your heart might race a little bit, right? And you have just a little bit of shortage of breath in the beginning. Or you might be on a very, what I call a cat day, and very blasé, and you just feel a drain of energy go through you. And you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like this at all. I want to get it over and done with. And so if you're in a dog day, and 99 out of 100 times I'm in a dog day because I'm too high energy, and when I'm going to pitch, I get a little bit nervous and a little bit more high energy. I need to drain my energy. I need to make sure that my tank is empty. And although I will feel drained because I'm a high energy person and my heart was racing, it'll be fine. I will catch up and I will not lose my breath. And the way to do that is extremely simple. And you see many people, actors that you've seen on TV, do it before they go get an award or before they go on stage, which is they take both hands, you breathe in, you hold your air, and then you squeeze all your muscles and release. So you just go. And you can do this in any scenario, walking while you're going up. And right now, my voice is a little bit calmer. I'm a little bit drained. If I do it 10 times, I will faint. And that's fine, because a more mellow Afonso is better for you than me coming in and wanting to tell you all about the pitch that I have for you today. So it's okay to drain your tank. Your heart rate will not go down. Your heart rate will go up first, but then your energy will drain. And then all of a sudden you're going up, up, up again into the pitch. It's important that you control your energy, because those first 2-3 slides, you will feel shortage of breath, a lot of ideas running through your head, if you don't control your energy and your breathing. And that is very important. However, if you're in a cat day, that is far more difficult. This can happen because you don't enjoy pitching, because you don't enjoy the exposure of pitching, because you drank too much the night before or on the day, and you're just not there. You're just not there. You don't want to be there. And so the Japanese, they do something which doesn't really work very well in our standards of pitching, where they tap themselves up and down. You can't do that. Okay, it's already crazy enough that you're opening your mouth and going manager. So what you do, and you also see people on TV, is you take 4 fingers, and while they're doing manager, they're just constantly doing this, and they do it quietly in the corner. So you can just tap yourself, keep tapping yourself, there, just getting a little bit of alertness, just getting a little bit of energy. So when you come in, you feel like you have something to deliver. And that's the way you do it in a more discreet level, to just try to tap yourself as much as you can on your vein, but don't stop. Don't do it like 3 times and stop. Just keep going and going and going until it's your turn, till they say go. It also helps you not think about the pitch. And then there's the psych of pitching. So the psych of pitching, I always get this question: should I research the LinkedIn profiles of the people out there and understand who they are? Of course you should. Doesn't mean you're going to obsessively home in on someone or an individual there. But what you need to embrace in pitching is that it's a theater, and you've been given the microphone. unless it is a boardroom pitch where you will be interrupted and it'll become a conversation, it is a pitch. You've been granted the time to go one-way avenue. And one-way avenue means it's a theater. The people there are lovely people with heads and clothes, and you can use your circular hands and look at them as shapes, but you're not actively observing. And that's good because that means people can look at their phones, things, they can drop things on the floor, and you keep going. Unless there's a fire, you probably keep going. You just keep going. You're automated to pitch that day. It's your thing. Those 2 minutes are extremely important. But what's extremely difficult is to go from not being an active observer and active listener, because that was your moment, to doing a Q&A and taking in questions. That is extremely difficult. And if you look at pitch competitions, more often what you get when people get questions is the people who asked it don't get answers. They get context. But you have to go back to when we started in 2017. It's like, I don't want to go back to when it's 2017. I want an answer to my question. This is where you need to be extremely, are there any Dutch in the call here? No one's from, okay, I live in Belgium. You need to be extremely Dutch. This is a transaction. I give you a question, you give me an answer. I asked how many, not who and what, why. So be careful. One of the best things that works with Q&A is if you're going to invite a colleague for Q&A with you, is you, the pitcher, become the MC and you pass the questions to 1, 2, 3 individuals, which you prearrange to be the subject matter experts. And you don't have to do them. But if you're pitching on your own, it is extremely important to have some sort of mantra you do to yourself to understand this is the moment I need to lean in, and now I need to actively listen and answer. It's very important. Do we have people from Brazil on the call? So
Yes,
I hold a few
we have.
passports. One of them is Brazilian. And this is a high context culture. You give a lot of context on your answers. This is a difficult point to make sure that we are clear that we're giving them answers to the questions. It's something we can practice, and it's something we will. So make sure that you have something. I usually take a step forward. I ask for the permission. I'm just going to take a drink of water before I answer your questions. I say it. No one cares if I said it, but I do it just so I know, okay, I need to answer these questions. And I hate not giving them answers. And most likely I'll give them context because it's exhausting. You're in pitch modus. You're not in conversational modus. So that's part of psych. I have these little cards with me, and these cards are largely, they're a little bit more than this. They're largely based on this little template that you can take away and just write your number 1, which is your own imaginary manager. And then, do I need to flex? Do I need to tap? Do I know when to pause? And these are things that I want to embrace before I pitch. Do I know these things, these little structures that are going to help the emphasis for me to deliver the best pitch that I can. Lastly, last message, don't read into anyone's face. They might look at their phone. They might look at you funny. Ignore it. Move on. It might not mean anything at all. It's happened to me in the past. The VC company looking at me like this. In the end, they invested. So it was really weird. Why were they doing that the whole time? But move on. If someone falls asleep, that's their problem. Keep your cool. You have your 2 minutes. You're in charge, and control the body and the power in your voice. That's what I want you guys to do. And we will work together on your pitches. I have no expectations that you need to do any of this. What we need to discuss is what is going to be that flow? How will you bring it in? Who's pitching? How comfortable do you feel? That's what we want to discuss on our calls today. I hope that's okay. This was a short workshop. No more slides, right? Oh, there's homework. I got to give you homework. Okay. The homework is there. You can read. Choose your sections. Make your pitch deck. It's the exercise I showed before. Anything else I need to add, Margarita?
I think that you have another slide with homework, the video.
Oh yeah.
Well,
But this is for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but the video. So after the session with Afonso, what I will exactly the one.
Where'd I go?
No, the previous one.
Yeah, there. Yes, record a video. Record your 2-minute pitch. And upload your pitch. That's great.
Yeah, and you can upload the video on FabStart Academy. Okay.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, Fernando, you have a
Any
question. Your hand
questions?
is up.
Sorry, I got late because I had a meeting before. So you probably already replied, but I'm really sorry. So on the 10th, we're going to be pitching 2 minutes, right? Not 3 minutes,
Yeah.
not 5, 2 minutes.
That's really
Mhm.
short.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
Okay, thank you
it's
so much.
2
yeah.
minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Just
man, I
What
to
are we
will need more
pitching?
than
Am
2
I saying
minutes.
my name? I'm saying my name in the name of the company?
and the sign, yeah. So you are
My
20,
God.
so
I don't
we
think that we
want to
need
give you
more than 2
the
minutes.
opportunity to all of you. Yeah, it's 2 minutes
Okay.
on the next 10th. So just to give you, I said this yesterday, but just to clarify, so the pitch will be for the open event, okay? It's not just for Fidelidade, Luxaúde, La Positiva, and for Zoom. It's for for the ecosystem. We will have the press there, so this is the moment where we will be presenting the batch, this edition batch, okay? So it's not just for the partners, it's not just for the investors, it's for the community, okay?
So we're pitching the company, right? We're pitching the
Exactly, yeah.
company, not the pilot. Okay,
No
very good.
pilots, yeah, no pilots, no asking for money. Well, you can do it, of course, but in 2 minutes.
We always ask for
Uh,
money, right? That's the problem with startups.
Sorry, just
exactly.
to make sure that I understood. So we're gonna have a matchmaking day on the 10th, right? So the first time that the corporate's gonna be hearing the pitch is just at the open events, or they're gonna be hearing the pitch before as well?
You will have the opportunity. So during the morning, Fernand, you were not there. Yes, you were not with us
I'm
yesterday,
really
right?
sorry.
It's
I
okay.
can align
So
with
during
Luis. It's okay. So you don't
It's
need
okay, it's
to.
okay. No, it's okay. So during the morning, you will be together with your innovation hero people from the partners, okay, from Fidelidade and Luxaúde, and you will have the opportunity to pitch, and you will have more time to talk about your company, okay, your startup. This pitch is for the open network event that will happen in the afternoon. Okay, so it's not the first time that they will hear about you, the persons that you'll be working with. Okay. Was
I'm
that
sorry
clear?
for asking the same. Yes,
It's
it was
okay.
100%
I
clear.
was
I will ask
I
Luis,
was joking.
my co-founder, before asking something. I'm really
I know. It's okay. I don't know if it was clear for all of you.
No, I have the
Yes,
question, if do we have to bring slides to that 2 minute pitch or not?
you can. Yeah.
Okay, good enough. Thank
But
you.
do they have to? That's a very good question.
Um, I
This is
think yes.
yeah,
But
it's an innovation
I think
challenge, so
I
you
think
have
you
to
have
improve.
I think you have. We will have a huge screen behind you. So I think that you all, I hope that all of you can have the slides, but if you prefer to not have slides, well, you can discuss this with Afonso in these 101 101 sessions. But yes,
Bring something visual. Let them
yes,
remember
if
who
you
you
bring
are. Bring
something
something
visual,
visual.
yes.
But
Do we need
no
to
eyes
send you the
bleeding
pitch?
like I've seen before, please.
Do we need to send you the pitch before? And if
Yes,
so, in any
yes.
specific format, like Google Sheets, Canva, sorry, Google Slides, Canva?
I will give you these instructions before because I need to coordinate with the operational team that will be there. And I will ask you this on the Fabstart Academy. I will post this information and I will send an email to you, okay? Thank you, Fernand, for bringing this up. Okay, so no more
Great.
questions?
Oh, I
think
have one question. And how about our homework? Can we record with our slides presentation as well in Canva, for example, or not? Just we talking?
This is just for us and for you to practice and for us to be sure that you understood the pitch.
Okay,
goal.
thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very
something
much.
we will not share this video. Okay, just for one of the startups that will not be there, we will ask a video to share on that day. But all of you will be there. The rest of you will be there, so we will not share this video. This is just a homework. Okay, don't worry about that.
It should be better just to to put our videos in this.
You'll be
No, it's
fine.
not. No,
Great.
you will do great.
Okay. So today I will see Coalex, Hedi, Quantum Leap, Tech Privacy, Alscora, and Medrun.
Great.
Yes,
Yeah.
excellent. And everybody else, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Power hours. Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay.
I will ask Armando and Fernando to reply to my email. Okay. I've sent you an email. Just check it out, and if you have any questions, just let me know. And have a good sessions. I hope that you enjoyed the first part, and I'm sure that you will have a really productive individual session. I don't know if you want to give some feedback, if you like the session or not. Was productive? Was inspiring? Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you,
definitely.
guys.
Great. Great.
Yes, very good. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
See you shortly. Drink some water for those that are meeting, and have a good evenings, everybody. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you, Margarita, and everyone for
Thank
being
you very
Bye.
much, Afonso.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much,
you.
Afonso.
See you shortly,
you.
Afonso.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Right.